Doris with the X-Block Ruler Template Company, and today we're going to show you how to use the belly button template. So many of you know about the X-Blocks and you know that there's a belly button, but many of you don't know how or what to use it for, so hopefully you'll have a new quilt to make. We're going to show you how to make the Thornton pattern, and it's also the quilt behind me. So we're going to start off with our belly button. We're going to sew a strip set together. And for Thornton, you're going to need 2 strip sets. You're going to line it up, and we're going to flip the template over. So we're going to cut with the template upside down for Thornton. We're going to line up the lines, the solid lines of the template with the sewn lines of the strip set. And if you'll notice, there's some other lines on your template. Those give you other design options in other patterns, but today we're just using the solid lines on the belly button ruler. So we're going to cut around it with our rotary cutter. If you move your template, just realign. And that gives you your block. You're going to need 2 of those, one with the color C and one with color D. So we've got another strip set with color D. It looks pretty close to the first one, but the first one was color C. Now we're using color D, and we're going to do the very same thing. Template upside down, lining up the solid lines, cutting around it with our rotary cutter. So now we've got 2 belly button blocks. We've got one with color D and one with color C. So we're going to take those, and we need those to start our block, our bigger block that we're going to use the bigger template for. We have a belly button block. We have a rectangle. We have another rectangle, another background rectangle, and our 4th color. So we're going to sew those together. Now the Thornton block uses a partial seam, and partial seams are really easy to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that belly button block and we're going to match it up to our rectangle, and we're just going to sew halfway down, or a little over halfway down. And we're going to stop right there. We're going to take and press that seam. We're going to press it to the rectangle. So now we have a block that looks like this. Then we can add our second block, our rectangle. And if you'll notice, we're matching colors here. So we're going to sew that, and it looks like this. Here's our partial seam. Here's our rectangle that we just sewn on. Now we're ready to add the second background around it. If you'll notice, we're working around the belly button. Where is your belly button? It's in the middle. So our belly button is in the middle as well. Doesn't always have to be, but in this one it is. So we're going to sew those right sides together. We have a block. Now it's looking like this. Here's still our partial seam, and we've added our background. All right, so we're adding our last rectangle. Flip it right sides together and sew that. So now it looks like this, and here's the partial seam that we just did at the very, very beginning. Now we're ready to close that seam up. So we're going to flip them over, right sides together. Just start right there, sew all the way to the end. And then you have a block that looks like this. So there's your belly button in the middle, and you've made all of the seams. Simple as that. Now we're going to take our template. We're going to line it up. Again, we're using the solid lines. There's several lines on our template. There's dashed and there's dotted, but we're only going to worry about the solid lines, lining them up on as many of the sewn lines of our block as we can. And we're going to cut around it with our rotary cutter. Now you have some extra cutoffs or wedges on the outside. Don't throw those away. We'll show you how to use those as a secondary project for a table runner to go with your quilt. Okay, so now we're going to make our second block. We're going to lay it out just like we did before. Construction is exactly the same. So we've got our two backgrounds and our colors. We're going to sew the block together just like we did before until we have a block that looks like this. Again, we're going to take our template, we're going to line it up on the solid lines, and that's going to make our block B. You've got cut off wedges. Don't throw them away. We're going to use those for our next project. And there's block B with your belly button in the middle. Now we'll take those blocks, block A's and B's. So this is block B, and we're going to put 4 together to make our star flower. We're going to do the same thing with block A, put 4 together. So we've got B, A, B. So those little triangle cut-off pieces that I talked about, don't throw them away. I'm going to show you what to do with those to make this beautiful table runner. We're going to pair a color with a background, color with a background, color with a background. And we're going to sew those right sides together until we have a wedge that looks like, or a rectangle that looks like this. Then we're going to take our square up ruler and we're going to square those to all the same size so that they look like this. We want them all to be the same size. We're going to sew 2 of those together. This one will be squared up into a square that looks like this. Then we're going to take and we're going to sew. We're going to do this for color C, and here's our block, and we're going to put 4 together. So now we've kind of got a spiky star pinwheel. And we're going to do the same thing for color D. Then you're going to sew those together, and the pattern will give you directions on how to sew them together. But here's your block, and here's your block. And you'll put additional blocks in between. So you didn't waste one single thing. You used all of those cut-off wedges, and you've got a beautiful table runner to go with your quilt. Thank you for joining us today at the Fat Quarter Shop. We use the belly button and the 7.5 inch X block. The belly button is exactly the perfect size to go in the middle of your 7.5 inch block, but you don't have to use it in just the middle. You can use it on any one of the outside places of your X block. 9 belly buttons will make a 7.5 inch block. We used the Thornton pattern today to make the table runner and the quilt behind us. Thank you so much for joining us at the Fat Quarter Shop. Be sure to check out all of the videos on their YouTube channel, and have a great day.